Ever wondered why Amish men in their 20s seem more capable than modern men in their 40s? It's the result of fundamentally different training systems that produce men with radically different competencies. While modern men outsource basic skills to specialists, Amish men develop comprehensive capabilities that create genuine confidence and self-reliance. They build their own homes. By age 25, most married Amish men have constructed their own family homes from foundation to finished interior. Not hired contractors, not assembled prefab structures, actual construction involving every aspect from timber framing to roofing, window installation to interior finishing work. This capability develops through apprenticeship starting in early adolescence. Teenage boys work alongside fathers and uncles on building projects, learning foundation layout, framing techniques, roofing methods, and finish carpentry through hundreds of hours of hands-on experience. By the time they marry, they possess the knowledge and skill to build structurally sound, weather-tight homes that last for generations. This isn't about returning to pre-industrial construction methods. It's about the confidence that comes from understanding how your home works because you built it yourself, rather than signing mortgage documents for a structure you couldn't replicate if your life depended on it. They fix what breaks. When equipment fails on an Amish farm or in an Amish workshop, the default response is troubleshooting and repair, not replacement or service calls. Amish men develop mechanical intuition through constant interaction with tools, equipment, and machinery that they maintain and repair themselves rather than outsourcing to specialists. This repair capability emerges from understanding how things work at a fundamental level. An Amish man who builds and maintains his own buggy understands wheel bearings, axle alignment, and brake systems through direct experience. When something breaks, he diagnoses the problem through systematic testing and observation, then fabricates replacement parts or adapts existing materials to restore function. Modern men typically respond to equipment failure by replacing the entire item or calling repair services. A broken appliance means purchasing a new one. A malfunctioning car means a trip to the mechanic. This outsourcing of repair creates learned helplessness, where men feel incompetent to solve basic mechanical problems because they've never developed troubleshooting skills. The self-reliance that comes from repair capability extends beyond saving money. It's the confidence of knowing that when things break and everything eventually breaks, you possess the skills to restore function rather than becoming helpless until someone else solves your problem for you. They provide real security. Security means different things in different contexts. For modern men, security often means insurance policies, 401k balances, and home alarm systems, financial and technological solutions to potential problems. For Amish men, security means actual capability to provide fundamental needs regardless of external circumstances. An Amish man can produce food from soil and livestock without grocery stores. He can access water from wells without municipal supply. He can generate heat from wood he harvests and processes himself. He can repair his shelter without contractors. These aren't theoretical survival skills, they're daily competencies exercised year-round that happen to provide security as a side effect. This practical security proved its value during the 2020 supply chain disruptions, when grocery stores faced shortages and modern families struggled. Amish families continued functioning normally because their food security never depended on external supply chains. The pandemic didn't create crisis for people who already grew their own food and preserved it for year-round consumption. Modern security is fragile, dependent on systems continuing to function, money retaining value, and services remaining available. Amish security is robust based on personal capability that functions regardless of external system status. The difference becomes clear during disruptions when theoretical security fails while practical capability continues providing. This isn't survivalist paranoia. It's the recognition that real security comes from what you can do, not what you can buy or who you can call. They lead. Amish men accept clear leadership responsibility from the moment they marry, making family decisions without committee consensus or endless discussion. This isn't domineering control, it's accepted responsibility for family direction and provision that their culture expects and their training prepared them to handle. When an Amish family faces a decision about land purchase, business direction, or major household matters, the husband makes the final call after appropriate consultation. He doesn't defer to his wife's preference to avoid conflict, doesn't delay deciding while gathering more information indefinitely, and doesn't seek validation from outside parties before committing. He evaluates the situation, makes a judgment, and accepts responsibility for the outcome. This decisiveness develops through progressive responsibility, starting in childhood. Young Amish boys receive meaningful work assignments where their decisions have real consequences. Teenage sons manage portions of farm operations, making daily judgment calls about livestock care, equipment use, and work prioritization. By the time they establish their own households, they've made thousands of consequential decisions and learned from both successes and failures. Modern men often struggle with decision-making, preferring consensus seeking that diffuses responsibility. When decisions go wrong, the thinking goes, it wasn't solely your fault if everyone agreed. This avoidance of sole responsibility prevents development of decision-making confidence. Without practice making consequential decisions and living with results, men remain trapped in analysis, paralysis, or deference to others' preferences. Leadership isn't about controlling others. It's about accepting responsibility for direction and being willing to make judgment calls, knowing you'll be accountable for outcomes. Amish men develop this willingness through decades of progressive responsibility rather than suddenly expected to lead without preparation. Physical capability. Physical decline isn't an inevitable feature of aging, it's the consequence of sedentary living that Amish men largely avoid through daily manual labor, maintaining strength and mobility well into old age. 60-year-old Amish men commonly work alongside 30-year-olds without significant capability differences, performing the same physical tasks with similar endurance. This sustained capability comes from consistent physical work rather than exercise programs. Daily farm chores, construction projects, and workshop tasks provide varied movement patterns that maintain functional fitness. Lifting hay bales preserves back and leg strength. Climbing barn structures maintains balance and grip strength. Walking fields builds cardiovascular endurance. Swinging hammers and using hand tools keeps shoulders and arms strong. The variety of movements matters more than intensity. Amish men don't do focused strength training or specialized conditioning. They perform diverse physical tasks requiring different movement patterns that maintain comprehensive functionality. This varied work prevents the repetitive stress, injuries, and imbalanced development that often result from specialized gym training focusing on particular muscle groups while neglecting others. Modern men's physical decline typically begins in their 30s as sedentary careers take their toll. Desk work atrophies muscle, weakens bones, and reduces cardiovascular capacity. Many attempt to compensate through gym memberships, but 1-hour workouts can't fully counteract 8-hour sitting sessions. The body adapts to its most frequent position, and for modern men, that's seated immobility. The psychological impact of physical decline extends beyond health metrics. Men who grow weaker with age lose confidence in their physical capability. They begin avoiding physical challenges, which accelerates decline in a negative spiral. Amish men who maintain strength throughout life never experience this confidence erosion because their capability never diminishes. Mastering valuable trades. Amish men don't just have jobs, they master trades that produce tangible value and generate income through demonstrated skill rather than credentials or resume bullet points. Carpentry, blacksmithing, furniture making, harness repair, equipment maintenance. These aren't hobbies or side interests, but career-level competencies developed through apprenticeship systems that create genuine expertise. The apprenticeship model begins in early adolescence when boys start working alongside master craftsmen, usually fathers, uncles, or other community members with established trades. This isn't classroom learning or online courses, but thousands of hours of supervised practice where skills develop through repetition and correction. A carpentry apprentice might spend months just learning proper saw technique before moving to more complex joinery. This deep skill development creates multiple income streams. An Amish man might generate primary income from farming while supplementing with furniture, building in winter, harness repair as needed, and equipment maintenance for neighbors. The diverse skill base provides economic resilience that single career specialization cannot match. Modern career paths emphasize credential accumulation degrees, certifications, licenses that supposedly demonstrate competence but often correlate poorly with actual capability. A business degree doesn't mean you can run a profitable business. A management certification doesn't make you a good leader. These credentials signal completion of programs rather than demonstrated competence. The Amish approach reverses this priority. Credentials mean nothing. Demonstrated capability means everything. A young man proves his carpentry skill by building furniture that sells and satisfies customers, not by completing coursework or passing tests. This focus on actual competence over theoretical knowledge creates men who can do things rather than just talk about them or display certificates supposedly proving they can. Teaching their sons. Amish fathers accept personal responsibility for their sons' masculine development rather than outsourcing this crucial task to schools, sports coaches, youth programs, or other institutional substitutes. From age 8 onward, boys work alongside their fathers daily, learning skills, observing problem solving, and internalizing masculine behavior through direct modeling rather than abstract instruction. This father-son work relationship teaches more than specific skills. Boys learn work ethic by watching fathers persevere through difficult tasks. They learn problem solving by observing systematic troubleshooting when equipment fails. They learn emotional regulation by seeing how men handle frustration, disappointment, and physical discomfort without quitting or complaining. The daily proximity matters immensely. A father who works separate from his son for 50 hours weekly, seeing him only during evenings and weekends, cannot provide the comprehensive modeling that occurs when fathers and sons work side by side for 10 to 12 hours daily. The sheer volume of interaction creates learning opportunities that brief quality time cannot replicate. Modern fathers often remain largely absent from their sons' daily lives due to career demands, then attempt to compensate through scheduled activities or quality time that feels forced rather than natural. Sons join sports teams where coaches provide masculine modeling. They attend youth programs where other adults supervise their development. The father becomes a weekend presence rather than daily companion. This outsourcing of masculine development creates boys who develop into men without clear templates for manhood because they never spent sufficient time with their fathers during formative years to internalize masculine patterns through observation and imitation. This conflict in competence weakens relationships and prevents resolution of addressable problems because men lack practice having difficult conversations. They commit. Amish men enter marriage, understanding divorce isn't an option, not difficult, not socially costly, but literally impossible within their community structure. This absolute commitment changes the psychology of marriage from conditional contract to permanent covenant, affecting how men approach conflict, challenges, and the inevitable, difficult periods every marriage experiences. The same permanence applies to community membership and business ventures. Geographic mobility is limited. You don't simply move to a new city for better opportunities. Business failures must be worked through rather than abandoned through bankruptcy. These burned bridges create resolve because retreat isn't available when difficulty arrives.